probably the final update to the Stop Killing Games campaign.
Yes, sadly, acolytes. First of all, welcome. What you heard there is basically an update to a thing that is, quite frankly, close to my heart, and it's the Stop Killing Games movement. As on my thumbnail, you already seen, I see a certain person that the man himself here actually knows that actually did the entire movement some harm. But we're gonna come to it when we come to it. And this isn't a reaction thing. I'm gonna be honest here. This is actually something that we should, or what I personally would prefer, if you go in, look up his stuff, and then watch the entire video again to get the full context from him, from the man himself, and just see if you can actually support him in any kind of way. You have to be your opinion. If you're just asking yourself what's Stop Killing Games, well, it's basically a movement to stop giant companies of actually just closing down any games that, well, basically if you bought them only online and they just close the server, you're shit out of luck. That's something that I preferably would actually like to, well, dissolve, but that's what it is. Let's see what we can do, and we will start with the first thing that he says.
Realize is that in the EU especially, it's almost a state of lawlessness regarding the practice of game destruction.
And that, my dear acolytes, is a truth. That's actually, well, quite honestly, just disgusting to me. The amount of games that just get freaking dumped is just insane. And the thing is, we just can't do anything against it because, well, as you might know or might not know, because a lot of countries actually do that, it's relevant. They just don't care. Politicians don't care. And this thing is one of the steps where you could just say, okay, hear me out, you politician bollock sucker. Here, you got this thing that actually influences almost 1 million people, European-wide, that actually don't want this. And if they hear, by the way, I say it on purpose this way, if they hear that you didn't do shit against it, you're gonna suffer votes. Because why? Well, the only thing that can even save us is actually playing the politician's game. And it's not about being fair, it's not about being reasonable, it's about actually taking away their power. So, yes, good first step, I love it, and some might disagree on this one, but it is what it is. Just drop into reality and see that this was a correct state.
Being in the middle of this quagmire right now, if we had rolled up with 1 million signatures demanding that the EU give us basic consumer rights for video games, that would have been the easy way out for regulators, because then they would have a mandate. That's what I meant about my half-joke slide about politicians liking easy wins. This situation is such a mess that trying to settle this under existing law is more work than creating laws under a consumer mandate.
Yes, this just hardens the point of easy win. And yes, in his video that he did actually do afterwards was just half jokingly to say that politicians like easy wins. And you want to hear the truth? They do. Because politicians, if you want something from someone, you cannot go with the way you think about it most of the times. You always have to go in and just stay. No. Sorry, acolytes. Just do what they think would be the most effective and easiest for them. This is so true, on point, and everybody who thinks otherwise is just naive or lying on purpose.
Crossing minimum thresholds. Well, I didn't want to celebrate that because that's an arbitrary number. They're the minimums. All that really matters is that 1 million number, and we're a long ways away. Now, another suggestion has been to make a plea to big gamers, like PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye, Moist Critical, Markiplier, anyone like that. Well, yeah, I think that might be a great idea. Our biggest obstacle in the campaign has always been getting enough exposure, and they have exposure. I think any one of them could end this with one video and change gaming history. Problem is, I have no idea how to reach any of them. Plus, I can understand if they might shy away from this. First, they're probably busy people. But second, they may not want the kind of heat that comes with changing gaming history, even if it's for the better. And third, if they back this, then a million people might mob them to back something else, and then there's no end to it. So I actually can understand some people wanting to sit this out. I mean, yeah, it really sucks that we can't get enough attention on this badly needed change in the games industry, but I'm not shocked either. Honestly, I'm already punching way above my weight class on this.
By the way, this is a good idea that everybody throws in and just says, hey, do this and this, get the freaking loud voices in it, and just do. But the context behind it is, well, I'm gonna be honest, I personally would just try to write in one of their freaking things, I don't know, social media channels or something like that, and then just explain the entire thing and just explain why Pirate Software is wrong about it. Because he will explain it afterwards, but this idea, as you can hear, he thinks he punches above his weight, and the thing is, I think this man, as good as he means it, did one gigantic mistake. He thought that he could do it entirely alone. That's not how you do this. This is a thing where you need more help. And I personally... And you need help from people that actually know their fucking stuff. Now, do I blame him? No, because I myself couldn't do it better. Gonna be honest here. But I understand his point here. And I understand that at some point he's just done. It is what it is. I don't blame him, but I understand that yes, this is a good idea. But before you actually tell him, hey, do this, and then feel good about yourself, maybe try to give him an idea to say, hey, you could contact them here and here. Here is the link. So he has as little, well, basically, work as possible to actually do this. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I tried, but it just got overlooked. I understand it, by the way. No hard feelings there. And afterwards, I gotta be honest, I just thought, okay, this is going great. Nobody will say no to this, and yet, we just had one person that actually effed everything up, and now the entire thing is suffering under it. Bad luck.
And that's from people who support the campaign. For all the support and fair coverage we've received, there's been some opposition too. Though I want to say 80, maybe even 90% of people who are against the initiative are against it because they think it's doing something it's not. For example, the number one criticism about the initiative that we've never been able to shake is that it's unworkable because you can't expect publishers to support games forever. Yeah, we know. That's why we've never asked for that. I must have said this 100 times now. It was written on the website from day one, but this keeps coming up over and over again.
Still off the practice of developers putting together a live service game.
Now he's changed it again and is making up how it's about single-player games are ever. I've never heard this one. That we want the industry to convert all multiplayer games into single-player ones. I keep saying it. You never know where gamers are going to take this.
Nowhere in there does it say that it's directly targeting always online single-player games.
Oh, he's so close. He's so close to getting it. Okay, point number 1. Thor does not understand what Stop Killing Games is. Here it is in his words.
So for those who don't understand, the Stop Killing Games initiatives is basically we don't want single-player games to have DRM that the developers can turn off and thus render the single-player games with an easy win instead of pass because it's good is a problem to me. Absolute problem.
That's not how politics works. Do you think things pass because they're good ideas? Tell that to people who still have lead in their water. A lot of gamers are jaded with.
Good. The few parts you've seen right now, those were a few points of what he actually said. Proven, disproven, what Force said. Because I want to show you this stuff before I actually talk to it. I don't want to influence your thinking about it too early. I rather you see it than just say, okay, good, this was this and this point. Make your decision and then maybe hear me out how I see it. So you can then say, okay, this point or this point was good or bad or something like that. But the thing is, I see for Pirate Software as a very, very big, very, well, scummy person, to be quite honest. And the thing is, Pirate Software, I personally don't know him. Let's start with this. And you might or may not know that I actually made a video about him in the World of Warcraft thing where he actually did a mistake. I, at that point, defended him because of the mistake. Why? Because everybody was arguing how freaking shitty it was that he did what he did, but it's always a point between doing something and in theory you could do this, this and this. How he behaved afterwards, however, just showed that he has a gigantic negative, well, maybe, he is very arrogant, you cannot deny that. He just threatens people with actual, how is it called, with consequences that they cannot, well, make a career on Twitch because he is so big and mighty. And what was it? He actually had a game, or has a game, that he shown for a very long time, that he was spitting out, hey, this is such a good game, I am so for consumer rights and doing this correctly. It took 6 years for this game, his pixeled game, to actually get updates or a regular update. And I'm gonna be honest, his game Heartbound isn't that big of a deal. It's an indie game. Those were a lot of people that actually worked on it, or more than it deserves, quite frankly. And yet, he needed years to make a final update, to make everything good, to make everything run smoothly. So, what I want to say is, I am not saying that you should dislike him. I am not saying that he is automatically bad. I am not saying that, everything that he touches is bad. But know the context behind the story of this guy. And this guy is, in my opinion, a scammer, basically. A hypocrite and a scammer. But that's only my opinion, because I'm gonna be honest, after I heard that his second game, Ethereal or something like that, Ethereal 2 comes out. No, give me a second, I just hope, yeah, but basically, the second game that he actually does comes out. I would be very, very skeptical of everything he does after how he fucked up the first game. And I also would be very, very skeptical about everything he says just because how he behaved after the entire drama that he had all around and how he reacted. Because this guy reacted in a very heavily egotistic and negative way for absolutely no reason. So, decide as you wish, acolytes. But I'm gonna say the following. This is the end of the video. I ranted enough. And I hope that these little snippets actually help you and motivate you to actually watch the video yourselves. And then just, sorry about that. To actually make your decisions yourself and just do what you think is correct. Oh, Accursed Frames. Sorry about that. I always forget to name the guy himself. And just please, if you actually have even the slightest chance of contacting a bigger gamer, do it, please. if you can, do it in a way where accursed farms actually maybe can rapidly move it on. And from what I've seen is actually, because I'm looking at my recommendations right now, Pinguis Zero actually made already a video from the entire thing, so maybe the entire thing will be, well, fine. I hope so. But as it is, Acolytes, good night.